Zonky, zonky, zonky. Time for another adventure of the things that I have learned. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more content. You guys love these little check marks that I try to do after our playtesting sessions and so forth. So leave a comment down below. One of you guys, just tell me what you guys think about the channel, the current state of things, and so forth. Also, the link to Premium will be down below as well, and of course, all that fun stuff. So we haven't got quite to these yet. This is the next thing on my agenda. This last playtesting session was very, very, very rushed together. We wanted to accomplish two things with this one. We wanted to be able to, test out the waters of Zanki, because Keegan picked up Shiranui a while back, but just never really had a chance to, literally the minute he picked it up, the restriction got hit with it. So we needed to sit down and we needed to figure out a list. Mash from our Discord server, I ended up watching some other games on area, and I was kind of impressed with the build. So I found out they were in our Discord server, was talking to them a little bit about their list, and we said, you know what, screw it, let's test it out, let's put it on camera, let's test out some of the theory, let's see if Zanki is, is he good enough? Can he, keep up with, the waters out here, or is this just going to die straight out of the gate? Well, surprisingly enough, I don't know if I'm just terrible at the game. 99% of you will probably say we're awful, but I mean, we play this game for fun, and Keegan's been trying to push me more to test out standard on the channel. I think if we became a standard only, or a standard channel, I don't think people would be quite as entertained, because you have how many standard channels out there across the multiverse of channels. You guys can go watch any of them. If you want to watch Premium, you got to mosey on over here and see, what stupid cracked idea, I've seen somebody testing out this week, and, want to test it and see, if it works. That's what, we've done. Also, I have recently just saw that Ty put together a Ragna, what was it, the Ragnarok Online Premium deck. Their Premium channel recently just posted a list, and I was like, ooh, you got me interested now. All right, yeah, you're playing around with some very, very, very interesting ideas, and I like what I'm kind of seeing with that. So I eventually am going to sit down and test out some of those ideas and just see if, maybe that's a really cool hidden gem, but that'll be much later on. So this playtesting session was, can Zanki fly? And you know what? I'm kind of surprised. Zanki can get off his own 2 feet and he can walk around. I mean, the thing is, if you're choosing to play the alternatives to these lines, the problem that you're going to be facing is you're not getting the first, big push. So one of the things that MASH was talking about with their list was, if you go first, you want to, do the Ouroboros, make the Mask of Domination token, and just go with it. We never saw that. It was always Zanki first ride, do a dominate, kind of walk around going, ooh, me dominate you, and you're just like, oh, strange. Zanki being able to be on place, dominate something, is very beautiful. And that's one thing I gotta, give them some of the more unique input towards, was they were pretty nice in that development. And I like that. Now, I do think that, we might see some shift arounds out here. There might be something cool and crazy that might be innovated with Zanki. I'm kind of, at this point, kind of doubting it, because I feel like if there were going to be any crazy innovations with Zanki, I think we would have already seen them. I believe the general consensus right now across the board is Nuba's just a dead deck, which I don't necessarily think is the case. I think that people are they don't want to innovate. They don't want to sit down and do the thing. And also, Premium right now is in a really weird place, because every bad idea under the sun is currently in rotation. It's why, you've got all the mill and all that fun stuff. Yeah, I get it. I'm not going to blame anybody for not wanting to try out something like Shiranui out here, especially in, a format like this. 100% understandable, and yeah, that's absolutely fine. We also tested out the Elf Grade 1 for Grand Blue. Now, the logic behind including it in Grand Blue was, if we place it from the hand, you get a free plant token, which is a free booster, not a problem. She herself is, going to be 10k, which is cool, but she can also detonate an entire column to be able to, stack up some little free draw power for you. We were also under the idea that since multiple effects will go on the stack, you can detonate the entire column and then have the Night Storm still on standby to resolve, because they're both at the end of the battle. So Night Storm could technically return himself back to the same column or something or call something else into the column. It's a work in progress. It's something that hasn't really come up too much yet, but that was the logical sense of the idea that we wanted to test out with that, just to see if we could get it off of the ground. Now, this thing right here, I got some ideas for. I want to test this in Pale Moon. Obviously, I think it's pretty gosh darn good in Pale Moon, especially if you tuck it into the soul. But I don't know how well that's going to work out, because I got to put together Crest or Stage Harry. That's the next thing I got to do. I will say, if you do want a Pale Moon deck that doesn't feel like you're going to have to 800 IQ your brain power and try to figure out how things work, I do ultimately believe Crest Harry stage is probably pretty brain dead. I feel like the rest of the Pale Moon variants, Silverthorn kind of feels like it takes a little bit of brain power. If you're choosing to play Harry without the scaling of the crest, well, you can't play that build anymore, but, if you're choosing to play the crestless Harry, then, it feels like you kind of have some initial issues in the batting range, just trying to scale those numbers up and get them up to par. I feel like that's where kind of my problem lies with that. And also, Harry's kind of, that version of Harry's high roll, I guess, to be fair. Stage Harry is kind of high roll, but I don't have to worry about the Magia stuff anymore. I don't have to worry about any of that. It's just a lot more, just make the stage and just roll with it, man. The stage now gets bigger. Seems good to me. Outside of that, with all the buddy fight stuff, we'll see if I want to mess around with anything with that. More standard plus, I guess, is on the table as well. Dear old Edel Glemma into standard. I love that deck so much. It's such a high roll piece of garbage, but it's so fun. Outside of that, where do I want to go from here? I don't really know. I really don't. Because right now, I'm kind of just bouncing all over the place with, the random bad ideas, or at least we're kind of coming off of, the more competitive session, and I want to rev up those bad ideas and get them cooking again. But that's just it's gonna take a little bit. All right, it's all just take a step back, breathe, and figure out where the next ideas are gonna come. Outside of that, yeah. I always wanted, we could do some vintage fights on this channel. We have a couple of older decks still laying around. Not a lot of things, but I mean they do in fact exist. It's not entirely impossible to do vintage stuff. It's not going to be great vintage, but I mean anything is kind of on the table for older stuff. Outside of that, I'm going to still continue to explore Thai format. Because I think some of the exclusive stuff that they have transitioning over is pretty frickin' funny and pretty frickin' cool. So yeah, Zanki flew. Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. This concludes another session of ranting or talking about what we've done. You guys have a good rest of your day, alright? Thanks for watching today's video. Check out tradingcardmint.com down below in the description. Enter MCool40 on checkout. Save a little bit of money on your purchase. Check out mcoolgames.com if you're interested in getting some cool play mats and single trading cards as well. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Turn on those notifications so you don't miss one of our videos. Thanks for watching.